Hi. In this video I'll show you an app for tracking your investment portfolio, a convenient tracker that works right inside Google Sheets. You'll see how it helps you follow your stocks, analyze gains and losses, rebalance your portfolio, compare several portfolios against each other, and even test investment strategies on real historical data. All information in the app is provided for informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice. We'll go through every tab, and I'll show everything with live examples so you immediately understand how it works in practice. To get started, in your Google Sheet open the Portfolio Tracker menu, then open in Browser. The first time you run it, Google will ask you to authorize the script. This is completely normal and safe. The script only reads and writes data in your own spreadsheet and fetches public stock prices, nothing more. Click Continue, choose your account, click Advanced, then go to Project. You'll see a warning that says Unsafe. Don't be alarmed by that, it's just Google's standard warning, and finally click Allow. Once you've granted the permissions, a small window will appear. Before clicking the button, check your time zone in your spreadsheet settings, File, then Settings, then Time Zone. This matters for correct dates. You only need to do this once for this particular spreadsheet, you won't need to check it again after that. Then click the Open Dashboard button, and the app will open in a new browser tab. Before we start, an important note about your data. Everything you see and enter in this app is stored exclusively in your own Google Sheet. There is no external database, and nobody but you has access to your data. Here's how it works technically. The app is a custom window that opens right from your spreadsheet and communicates with it directly. Whenever you add or change something in the app, that data is immediately written to your spreadsheet. And the other way around, everything the app displays, it pulls straight from there. Besides the README sheet, your spreadsheet will also have hidden sheets. That's where all your data is actually stored. Never edit anything on those sheets manually, and never rename them, otherwise the app will stop working. Let's start with the Portfolio tab. This is where we'll add our assets. There's a panel on the side, you open it with the arrow button, and by default we already have one portfolio called Portfolio. Now let's create another one. Just type in a name, for example Portfolio 2, and click the green plus button. There we go, done. Now we have two portfolios, and you can switch between them with a single click. Next to each portfolio you can immediately see the most important numbers, how much it's currently worth, how much it changed today, and how much it changed overall. So even without opening a portfolio, one glance at this panel tells you how each one is doing. You can rename or copy any portfolio. I'll click the pencil icon and type in whatever name works for you, up to 20 characters. And the copy icon instantly duplicates the portfolio along with all its transactions, handy if you want to try out a new scenario without losing the one you already have. An important point, the money here isn't real, this isn't connected to a bank or a broker. You add funds to your balance yourself, manually, on the Account tab. Because of that, each portfolio can become its own separate scenario. For example, one portfolio could be conservative, you pick only stable stocks and watch how it behaves. A second one could be aggressive, riskier companies or crypto assets. By the way, the app also lets you add transactions retroactively, so you can even check what would have happened if you'd bought these shares a year ago, but more on that a bit later. There's also a Compare Portfolios button here, it opens a table showing all your portfolios side by side. And there's a gear icon here too, you can hide columns you don't need or drag them to reorder, whatever works best for you. And if you mess something up, don't worry, you can always reset the settings back to default with one click. And last but not least in this panel, the red Clear All Data button. This is a full reset, all your transactions, dividends, account operations, watchlist, and every portfolio will be gone. The app will go back to how it was right after installation. This action cannot be undone, so the app will always double check that you really want to do it. Before buying shares, you need to top up your balance. There are two ways to do this, either through the Account tab, or through the Portfolio panel, in the Compare Portfolios window. We'll look at the Account tab. And a reminder, the name of your active portfolio, the one you're currently working with, is always visible up top, among the tabs. To switch to a different portfolio, open the side panel you already know and just click the one you want. So, the Account tab. At the top is a card with your current balance, right now it's 0. Below it is the deposit form, you choose the operation type, deposit or withdrawal, enter a date, an amount, and a fee percentage if needed, then click deposit. A bit further down are filters by operation type, and a statistics button showing more detailed analytics for the account. And since there are no operations yet, it just says the list is empty. Let's enter, say, $1,000, and set a 1% fee, just to show how it works. You'll immediately see the net amount will be $990. Click deposit, and the balance instantly becomes $990. By the way, all amounts and calculations in the app are in US dollars only. There are other ways to top up your balance too. First, through the side panel, in the Compare Portfolios window, there's a balance column, and next to each portfolio a plus button for a quick deposit, without switching to that portfolio. And a second way, very handy if you have several portfolios, the green square plus button right in the table header. This is bulk deposit, clicking it tops up all your portfolios at once by the amount you specify. Now let's talk about how to buy a share. The easiest way is on the Trade tab. Just enter the ticker in the field and click the Find button. After searching, you immediately see a few things. First, a blue and portfolio badge, it tells you right away whether you already hold this stock, and how many shares. Below that, a green checkmark saying Found, Apple Inc., with the company logo, and a price history button that opens a chart of the price over a chosen period. Then a details card, company name, today's price change in percent, the current price, and below that the opening price, day high and low, trading volume, and the 52-week high and low. And finally the purchase form itself, operation type, date, number of shares, price, fee percentage, and the total amount. We fill in the quantity and click the Confirm button. You can click the calendar icon and pick any past date, and the price for that day loads automatically. By default that's the closing price for the trading day. But if you remember buying the share at a different price, the price field can always be edited manually, and the system will calculate the amount using your actual price. Now about the price history chart, you can open it from anywhere. There's a chart icon button. It shows how the ticker's price changed day by day over the selected period. Using the buttons at the top, 7 days, a month, a few months, a year, and up to 10 years if the data goes back that far, you pick the range you want. I picked 10 years for Apple here. You can immediately see the current price and how much it's grown or dropped over that whole time. The colored bars at the bottom show the trading volume for each day. And if you hover your cursor over the chart, or use the left and right arrow keys, a tooltip appears with the exact price, that day's change, and the trading volume. There's one more option too. Holding down the left mouse button lets you select a whole date range and instantly see how much the price changed over exactly that period. Now that we've bought a share, it immediately shows up in our portfolio. Let's look at what's here. The table shows the current price, average by price, number of shares, total invested, current value, and 4 types of gain, today's, total, realized, and unrealized, plus this stock's share of the whole portfolio in percent. On the right there's a gear icon. You can use it to show or hide any column, or even drag to reorder them however works best for you. Next to it is a toggle between table view and tiles, in case you'd rather see your stocks as individual cards. And in table view, each row has a cart icon button, buy or sell. Clicking it opens a window right there where you can buy more of that ticker or sell part of it, without leaving the tab. One more handy thing on the Portfolio tab, the table columns can be sorted too, just click the column name. An arrow shows the sort direction, and clicking again flips it. And next to the gain columns there's a small round % button, a toggle that lets you display gain either in % or directly in dollars, whichever you find easier to look at. Now let's go through these 6 statistics cards at the top. Portfolio value, the value of all the shares in your portfolio, calculated at current prices. Total gain, this number shows how much you could hypothetically earn or lose overall. It's calculated as total gain equals realized gain plus unrealized gain. In other words, it's an indicator of your overall profit or loss as of right now. Realized gain, this is how much you've actually earned or lost on the shares you've sold. Unrealized gain, this is how much you're currently earning or losing on paper, hypothetically, on the shares still sitting in your portfolio. The formula is, current value of the shares in the portfolio minus how much you spent buying them. It's unrealized because it only exists while you're still holding the shares. The moment you sell, that number becomes realized gain. Balance, this is the free cash in your account that isn't currently invested in shares. Think of it as a separate wallet. You deposit money, it gets added, you buy a share, the money leaves the balance and goes into that share, you sell it, the money comes back, you receive dividends, they get added to the balance too. Balance and portfolio value are 2 different wallets. One shows your free cash, the other shows how much the shares you're holding are worth. And finally, dividend income, shows how much you've received in dividends in total. Dividends aren't calculated automatically, you enter them manually on the Dividends tab. This card is just for statistics, it doesn't affect portfolio value or gain and loss. Let's move to the Deal History tab. This is where all your buys and sells are gathered in one place. At the top are filters, you can show all transactions, only buys, or only sells, and you can see right away how many are in each category. Next to that is a drop-down to filter by a specific ticker. The table itself shows the date, ticker with logo, operation type, number of shares, price, fee percentage, and the total amount. Any column can be sorted by clicking its name, just click again to flip the sort direction. And on the right of each row there's a pencil icon to edit the transaction, and an X to delete it. Let's move to the Dividends tab. This number shows how much you've received in dividends in total. Dividends aren't calculated automatically, you enter them manually, as received, right on this tab. Each entry is added to your balance once, at the moment you enter it. This card is just for statistics and doesn't affect portfolio value or gain and loss. The form for adding one is simple, you pick a ticker from the stocks in your portfolio, enter the date and the amount, and click Add Dividend. Each entry can be edited with the pencil icon or removed with the X the same way, you're already familiar with that. The Account tab, this is where the entire history of your money movement is gathered, deposits, withdrawals, buys, sells, and dividends, all in one list. At the top you see a card with your current balance. Below it is the deposit form, and filters by operation type, with a counter for each category. Next to that is a statistics button for more detailed analytics. And the table itself shows every operation, date, ticker if it relates to a specific stock, operation type, amount, fee percentage, and the net amount, meaning how much actually landed on your balance. And just like in deal history, on the right there's a pencil to edit and an X to delete. The statistics button opens more detailed analytics for the account. On the left is everything about deposits, how many operations there were, how much was deposited in total, how much fees added up to, and how much actually landed on the balance. On the right is the same thing but for withdrawals, how many times you withdrew, how much in total, the fees, and how much you received in hand. Below that, profit, the difference between what you withdrew and what you deposited. Why would you even need withdrawals if the money isn't real? It's for realism. You can simulate taking part of your profit out for yourself, and see how that affects the overall picture. Let's move to the Watchlist tab. This is a list of tickers you're simply keeping an eye on, even if you don't own those shares. Handy if you want to track a price before buying, or you're just curious about a company. You search for a ticker the same way as on the Trade tab, type in the symbol, click Find, and you'll see a details card, price, today's change, opening price, day high and low, trading volume, and the 52-week high and low. Click Add to Watchlist, and the ticker appears in your list. Just like on the Portfolio tab, there's a gear icon here for configuring columns, and a toggle between Table View and Tiles. In Table View, each row has 3 buttons. Price History, opens a chart of the price movement, a Buy Card icon, lets you quickly buy a share you've just been watching right from here, without switching tabs, and a Remove button, to take the ticker off your watch list. In Tile View, the same buttons and data are still there, just in a different format, as cards. But there's one more element here, a toggle between % and dollars. It controls how the price change is shown on the tiles, in %, or directly as a dollar amount. Handy if it's easier for you to think in money rather than percentages, or the other way around. One more handy thing about this view specifically, you can grab any tile with your mouse and drag it wherever's convenient, so you can arrange the tickers in whatever order works best for you. Now let's talk about one of the most useful features, the Rebalance tab. Imagine you've decided you want to hold, say, 50% of your portfolio in Apple and 50% in Microsoft. Time passes, Apple grows faster than Microsoft, and now it's no longer 50-50, it's, say, 65-35. The proportions have drifted, and your portfolio no longer matches the balance you originally intended. That's exactly what rebalancing is for. It brings your portfolio back to the proportions you wanted. And if your portfolio has not 2 stocks but say 5 or more, doing this math by hand gets genuinely difficult, and that's exactly where this tab becomes especially useful. The app offers 2 ways to do this. The first, buying, you add new money specifically into the assets that are currently below their target percentage, without selling anything. The second, reselling, you sell off what you have too much of, and use that same money to buy more of what you're short on, with no outside funds added. Which method to choose depends on whether you're ready to add new money, or you'd rather just redistribute what you already have. It's important to understand, rebalancing only works with stocks already in your portfolio, and naturally you need at least 2 tickers, otherwise there's nothing to balance. Let's look at the buying method. There's a fork here. You can check the Calculate Minimum box, and the system will find the smallest amount needed to bring the portfolio to the target percentages. Or you can leave it unchecked and enter your own amount. If that amount isn't enough for an exact split, the money will be distributed proportionally. Tickers that are furthest from their target get a bigger share, though the exact target percentages won't be hit. Once you've picked a method, all that's left is to enter a target percentage for each ticker and, if needed, a buy fee. As soon as everything's filled in correctly, a line automatically appears saying amount needed to buy, with a specific number. Click Execute Rebalancing, and before confirming you'll see all the actions that are about to happen, for each ticker, how many shares and for how much to buy. Confirm, and the app carries everything out step by step. While the actions are running, don't close this window. Now the reselling method. The logic here is different. You're not adding anything from outside, you're just redistributing what's already in the portfolio. You enter a target percentage for each ticker the same way, but instead of 1 fee there are 2, a sell fee and a buy fee, because this method involves both sells and buys at the same time. Once every field is filled in correctly, a summary appears: amount to sell, amount to buy. You click Execute Rebalancing the same way, review the list of actions, which tickers to sell and which to buy more of, confirm, and the app carries it all out automatically. While we were putting this example together, the share prices shifted slightly, so the app adjusted the list of actions to match the new prices. So, the Rebalance tab is a way to quickly bring your portfolio back to the proportions you want, without doing all the math by hand on a calculator. Pick a method, and the app calculates and executes all the necessary transactions. Now let's talk about the Backtest tab. Have you ever wondered, what if I had started investing in this stock a year, 3 years, or even 10 years ago? How much would I have made or lost? Essentially, this is a retrospective, a look back at real price history, showing how effective a given investing approach would have been. What do I mean by approach? For example, the difference between putting in the whole amount at once, versus investing gradually in smaller chunks, yearly, every 6 months, quarterly, or even monthly. These strategies often produce very different results, and the app lets you compare all of them at once, on a single chart, with real numbers. You can test a single stock, or compare several at once, up to 5 tickers. By the way, if you're only testing one ticker, you don't need to fill in the share of monthly amount field, there's nothing to split it between. Just enter the monthly amount and pick the number of years. The maximum is 10, but sometimes a stock simply doesn't have that much history, for example if the company only went public a few years ago. In that case the app will just show you how many years are actually available, and calculate within the real data. Click Calculate, and you'll see a table. Each row is a separate contribution strategy: invest the whole amount at once, or invest in parts, yearly, every 6 months, quarterly, or monthly. The columns show how many contributions were made, the amount each time, the total invested, how many shares were bought, and at what average price. And in the last column, a summary for the whole selected period, the final value, and how much that is in dollars and in percent of profit. Below that there's a Details button. It expands into a table broken down year by year, so you can see the trajectory, not just the final result. In the expanded table, the top line is the portfolio value as of the end of that period. In parentheses, the accumulated profit or loss in percent of everything invested, from the very start of the experiment through the end of that period. The bottom line is how much profit or loss was made by the end of that period compared to the amount at the end of the previous period, in dollars and in percent. Now let's look at an example with 5 tickers at once. I'll add some random stocks and set arbitrary percentages. When you type in a ticker and click Find, it can take a moment, since it's loading data. If something goes wrong or your connection lags, just click Find again. And if a ticker doesn't exist, the app will let you know right away. So, we've added 5 tickers, and now let's set an arbitrary monthly share percentage for each. Below, a hint will show how many percent you still need to add up to 100, or how much you've gone over. Keep in mind, you can't set 0%, and the field can't be left empty. Every ticker you've added needs some value. If you no longer need a ticker, you can remove it with the X button. Enter the amount you're willing to invest each month, and choose the number of years. The maximum historical, retrospective, period is 10 years. But note, if you've picked several tickers, the maximum period will be limited by whichever ticker has the shortest trading history, since the portfolio can't be tested for a period when one of the tickers didn't exist on the market yet. For example, if one ticker went public just 3 years ago, the maximum period for the whole portfolio will also be 3 years. Click Calculate. Now that there are several tickers, something new appears in the table. Instead of one summary column, there are now 4, results with no rebalancing, and 3 rebalancing options, quarterly, every 6 months, and yearly. So for each contribution strategy, all at once, yearly, every 6 months, quarterly, or monthly, you can immediately compare how it would have been affected by regularly rebalancing the portfolio's shares back to the target percentages. Below the Details button, instead of one expanded table there will now be 4, one for each rebalancing option, no rebalancing, quarterly, every 6 months, and yearly. This way you can see year by year exactly how the portfolio would have developed under each of these scenarios. Click the Chart button, and you'll see how the portfolio's value would have changed day by day, separately for each investment strategy, all at once, yearly, every 6 months, quarterly, monthly. There's a View mode. By default the chart shows the portfolio as a whole, but you can also see how an individual stock within that portfolio changed, or select several at once. There are checkboxes for that in this section. Hover your cursor over the chart and move it to browse the data day by day, or use the left and right arrow keys. A box will appear with details for the selected date, the portfolio's composition by ticker, and for each strategy, the portfolio's value on that date, the gain or loss in percent. The box will also show whenever a contribution happened, marked with a card icon, and whenever a rebalance happened, marked with a scales icon. And below the chart, another box will appear with the date and each selected ticker's share price for that day. Rebalancing frequency lets you choose how often the portfolio would have been rebalanced back to its starting shares, quarterly, every 6 months, yearly, or not at all. The chart and the details box update immediately based on what you pick. Contribution frequency, use the checkboxes to turn the different strategy lines on the chart on and off. It might seem like the smartest move is to invest the whole amount at once. If the stock ends up rising over that period, you'll get the biggest gain. In the summary table that option is even listed first, and at first glance that looks pretty good. But let's look at a real example, the ticker F, that's Ford, over the last 10 years. If you compare all the options against each other, the picture is completely different. In first place for profit is yearly, then monthly, then every 6 months, then quarterly, and in last place, believe it or not, the whole amount at once. So regular periodic contributions, thanks to averaging the purchase price, actually beat a single lump sum investment over this period. So, backtest is a way to test an investment idea on real historical data, before putting in any real money. You can compare different contribution strategies, see whether regular rebalancing is worth it, and see it all visually, on a chart, with real numbers for every year. If you click Send Feedback, a small form opens. At the top is an important note: please don't include passwords or any personal data. Then you choose a type, bug report or general feedback, and in the description field you write whatever you want to say. Found a bug? Write where exactly and what went wrong. Have ideas or suggestions for what else you'd like to see in the app? Write those too. It can even just be general feedback about your impressions. I'm genuinely interested in hearing your thoughts, so don't be shy. By the way, in the top right corner there are 2 more icons. One of them is the theme switcher, light or dark. Pick whichever you find easier to look at. That's it, we've gone through all the main features of the app, from creating a portfolio and making your first purchases, to rebalancing and testing strategies on real historical data. I hope it's clear now how to use all of this, and how it can be useful for you specifically. Let me know in the comments what you liked, what you didn't, and whether you'd like to see any other features here. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching this video all the way through. See you in the next one.